going to talk about our experience at Origins.
Yep.
I almost said Gen Con.
Not
Gen
yet.
Con's close.
Coming up.
It is very, very close.
We still have some openings in our events at Gen Con.
Yes, some just got opened up. So if you want to go play Awkward Guests, that's definitely up there.
You can do a search by Legends of Nerdvana, or because Miranda was left in charge of booking them, you might have to look up Sarah, which is Szara.
The Sarah Shop. I don't know how that happened, to be quite honest with you. It's in Sarah Shop's my Etsy store. So I think there was just, I think there's some autofill that occurred. Because I don't know what that would happen for. So we're talking about Origins. So Origins is typically, and we've mentioned this in previous things, it has a lot less people, less than 20,000 compared to Gen Con 70,000. So it's a lot more laid back. You get to talk to actual people to demo the games when you're going through the vendor hall. There's other things that we really like about Origins, and typically when we go to
restaurants,
the food is so much better. And the fact that me and my husband typically take it as a trip just for us, where in Gen Con we have everybody in our rooms.
Yeah.
So in that aspect we really like Origins. So we did find a couple of things at Origins.
I got the picture with the whole shebang, except for some of the shirts because they weren't unpacked
I am
yet.
Not sure how we ended up with so many.
Me and you actually picked out quite a few too.
3. I've got 3 over here.
I got there was one here that I bought for you.
Well, you can't count that.
If you liked it, and then you picked out this one too. So we'll talk about those in a little bit.
So overall fun. We did end up staying. So this is the funny story. So Randy, I was like, hey Randy, let's actually try to get an attached hotel, because normally we're at the hotel at the end of the convention center, and it's a really, comparatively, we thought.
It is across the street, so it's not that bad, but you have to go outside.
But it's at the end of the convention hall, where if you were role-playing, it would honestly be the perfect one.
And you almost got ran over last year.
I did. But it's fine. So that's that hotel, and I was like, hey Randy, why don't we try to get something attached? So, and I said, let's actually purposefully go to Origins this year, because it's always my handsome stance that we end up going. So Randy, the day after the hotel's release, goes and he's like, hey honey, I was able to get us a one that's connected, and I was like, great.
I didn't say what it was connected to. It was connected to something.
No, it wasn't. Just a hotel. So we ended up going, and we were like, this seems much further away.
And it was, because you walked past our old hotel getting to the convention from it. So we were like almost a mile away. Yeah,
it was 0.7 miles is what it was. And I was like, Vandy.
and mind you, it was really hot.
It was really hot. The biggest thing, we ended up having to take an Uber once, not because
we were hauling stuff.
Because that was our big purchasing day.
Yeah, the first day we bought all the things on the list that I had gone to get, except for one, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah, and then but funny is one of the days the second day I ended up going back to the hotel with just 3 of them, probably one of the bigger EOS, something, 3 of the bigger ones, and I took those to the hotel. I nearly died. I am not in shape, folks. I am a gamer girl. I am not sporty. But I did make it, and it was fine. So, hotel experience. The hotel itself,
it was mediocre.
$6 for an apple juice, guys.
It wasn't horrible, but it was an older hotel. We typically stay at the Marriott's. We stay at the JW when we go to Gen Con. And here we booked up at Marriott, 0.7 miles away, and it was
Marriott
older. It was a courtyard. I will stick with the JWs in the future because that was not impressive.
Well, and normally I'm actually fine with courtyards. I've been to a couple that's fine. But lately I've been choosing Hilton. So there's that piece of it too, which Hilton was the one attached, Randy.
Yes. Well, the Hyatt and Hilton were already sold out by the next day.
So lesson learned, we're going to have to set alarms just like we do for Gen Con. And by we, I mean Randy, because I don't do that. Let's talk about some of the games. So, the first day, we ended up meeting with two different
we
people.
met with Kess, which they are the ones who they do a lot of now coverage of video games turned into board games. So we got to see anime. In this case, they actually tapped into anime. So I'll let you talk about that one.
So we actually got to see the new game that they've got coming out with Luffy.
Yes, Luffy's Bento Panic.
Yeah, which basically, if you guys are familiar with One Piece, Luffy is the pirate. Well, hopefully one day will be the Pirate King. So that's his dream. But it's basically the theme wise is that after an adventure, right? At the end of an adventure, after a couple of episodes, they always have the feast scene, and this is where the game takes place. And so you're a member of the crew, and you're trying to make sure that you keep your food from Luffy, because he will steal your food if you're not careful.
He's kind of like Sarah.
Yeah, pretty much. So that's where the game takes place. Thematically, it is spot on. So we did end up demoing the game a little bit. They mainly just told us. We didn't actually get to play it, but they told us about it. Yeah, it was thematically, it was very spot on. It's going to be a lot of attackiness because not only do you try to make sure you keep your food, but you're also stealing others' people. So you can either steal from the bag, you could defend against others, or you can steal from other people.
And it's all hand gesture based.
Yeah, so basically, if you point to two people, you can steal from their back, or you can point one to steal one and like defend one if you think someone's going after you, or you can go straight after the middle. And you steal stacks. So like if you have the same kind of food, like if it's stolen, you steal a whole stack of that same kind. And then if you get 5 of the same kind, then you actually get to quote unquote bank them, if you will. Yeah. So thematically, I thought it was really spot on. It's going to be a techie. I'm not sure how that's going to play out with our crew.
All I know is if I get a bunch of mine in a stack and you steal it, you're going to get a new hand gesture. It's not part of the game.
So there is that little bit of, but I mean, heck, you're playing pirates, so it makes sense. So I think some people will absolutely love it. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure our group will handle it well. But going in, if we know that, then we should probably be fine.
Yeah. And the second one we got to see was Sonic Roll, which is the one that appealed to me the most because obviously I grew up playing Sonic. I started on the Atari, but I was probably in my late teens when Genesis came out, and
So you chose the wrong ones every time.
No. I had every system, so I didn't get Super Nintendo, but I got Genesis, and it was a by far superior system for fast-paced games.
Super Nintendo was awesome.
Sonic, just like in the video game, you're collecting rings, and if you get accidentally injured or what have you, and you don't have rings, you lose a life. So you want to always make sure you have plenty of rings in the game, and you are going up against the final boss, just like in the game, Egghead or one of his minions. So I like the looks of it. It's cards and cardboard based, though, which is same. I think a lot of their games are that. I don't think they really have, like, you don't expect deluxe components.
Yeah.
The last one is kind of still in the works, and that's Street Fighter V Champions Edition. So this, I believe, is supposed to be a Gen Con release, but they're still working on some of the details. We couldn't show you the images of the characters because they haven't got them all developed yet. So they had some prototypes there that they said we could look at, but we couldn't talk about or show you.
Well, that was the ones with Luffy. Like, we could take pictures of certain pieces of the game, but like the character cards, we could not.
Yeah. It looks like what you would expect. You're moving around. You're actually fighting some of the bads from the video game. I'm loosely familiar with the game. I've played it a few times, but I can't tell you the names of the characters. I can say, oh, I remember that guy. That's about it. But Miranda didn't know any of them, so.
If anything, I know Mortal Kombat. Like, come here. That's it. That's all I got.
So then we met with Arcane Wonders. So I got to meet with Bree Goldman, who used to work for Lucky Duck, and now she's with Arcane Wonders. It's always great to be with her. And she walked me through a bunch of their games that are coming out this year. The one that was most exciting to me was Craftwagon. I actually have the original Craftwagon, but they got the original designer of the game to come back and basically streamline the game and give it new art. It looks much prettier than the original game. The original one looks almost like an old GMT style game, from the box. I think it's got better pieces in it, but we haven't got it to the table because it's a heavy Euro. But this one was, I think he lightened the game a bit. But it looks beautiful from what I saw of it. Foundations of Metropolis was actually there, available to purchase. That's a retail version of Foundations of Rome. So if you didn't want to go all in for those beautiful Roman pieces, but you still wanted the gameplay, you could pick up Foundations.
That one was actually a pretty good, strong game. So
yeah,
I like that one. We don't play it enough.
Mezzan was a two-tone game that was red and white, and they had it for demo out at the tables. I don't think it was for sale. But it's basically an abstract game where you get to decide certain pieces that you flip. You choose to flip the colors, and everybody has to follow along. But your goal is to meet criteria that you have on in-game scoring cards that tell you, like, if you have certain card tiles flipped at the end of the game. So you can, kind of, I'm not sure, I just kind of overlooked the game playing, so I'm not sure exactly how that one worked. But it looked like a very simple to learn but hard to master type abstract game, which I always like. There was a game called Floresta. It really kind of breezed through because there were so many titles they got coming out. They have a Buffet Boss, a game called Buffet Boss. They did have Video Game Champion. This was one she did go into detail on, and that one, that you basically are, it's almost like an RPG as a role play, or you're role playing a video gamer. So you're going through and you're playing, taking moves using like joystick commands to take your turns, but you also have to do things like clean your room and do things in order to buy the video games, which was really kind of cool. I thought, it'd be something you might like, actually.
Okay.
And then we met All Play. We got to meet up and see 3 different games. I did.
So that was the next day.
Yeah,
right.
That was day 2. I got to meet up with All Play and got to see 3 different games they had. So first one was Panda Panda, and this one is got a series of different winning combinations of cards. And it kind of plays a little bit like Rummy in the sense that you're playing cards to pick up cards, but you want to void your hand down into a winning combination of cards. Problem is there's limited numbers of each letter that is represented in the game. One card only has 1 in the deck. And if 2 people are going for that combination, you're going to run into competition for that card. So you're trying to get your hand to not just necessarily down in size, but to one of these winning combinations, which there's winning combinations for all hand sizes. So, you could keep all your cards and still win the game. So then there was Fairies. We kind of breezed through this one, but it's really a pretty game. There was a green and white tone to it, but it had like fairies. They had almost, I think it was like a gold screening on it. And this one, it was one as soon as I saw it, I thought Sarah. It was one, it'd be simple, she could probably learn. My favorite of the bunch, though, was a fishing game called Lure. And this one had dice involved in it, and you basically had standard 6-sided dice, but you also had specialty dice like the 4-sided, the 10-sided, 20-sided, different combinations. And you could use your 6-sided every turn, but if you wanted to use any of those specialty dice, if you used them, you had to rest them for a turn. So you would pick the dice you were going to use, and based upon the cards, the fish that were available to catch that round, and whoever used the fewest dice got to go first. So, there was an impetus for you to pick less dice because you would want to grab the fish. The fish didn't repopulate. So if somebody got all the fish before you got to a chance, you got nothing. So you would get basically a lure as a kind of a token of appreciation for missing your opportunity to get fish. So I thought that one was a clever little game. And then we met with CGE, and really they've only got 2 titles this year that they're releasing that are under the CGA company. There's a few. They partnered with another company to bring some small games to the United States. But the 2 big releases, the first one was released at Origins, I believe they had it for sale, and that's Little Alchemists. So if you've played Alchemists, this is like a simplified version for kids. We have not got to play Alchemist. We've got to the table, I think, twice and had to put it away because we didn't manage to get time to play.
It happens.
Yeah. The big one, though, the one I'm super excited about, is SETI. And this is actually a space exploration game, but is based on actual science. It's actually created by someone who is a fledgling astronaut. So SETI is an Essen release. It won't be at Gen Con, which is a bummer because we don't have ability to go to Essen.
Yes, maybe one day.
Yeah, we'll be at Gen Con. And SETI is, it's they had a prototype here. It's not the final version, but it reminded me a lot of the style of game that we got with Kutna Ora. Mm-hmm. But it's that level of strategy and complexity. But it's obviously set in space. Totally different mechanisms on it. You're trying to. There's a little bit of area control, a lot of board building, and getting upgrades to all your different components, and also getting further out in space to get more capability of exploring, because you've got basically telescopes, and if you can position them to other planets, it's going to let you see further into space. And I was super stoked to see that one, and I'm looking forward to getting a copy of it as early as possible. I think it's not going to be available in the U.S. for demo, or they'll have it for demo at Gen Con, but to give a prototype to review, they aren't going to have it until PAX, and that's unfortunate because we won't be at PAX either.
Yeah.
So and the last one we met up with was Tim's Cosmos, and we got to demo The Gang, which is a Texas Hold'em based game where you cooperatively play the game, though. So
you're basically trying to heist, like you're trying to steal some stuff, and to do that, you're playing a poker style hand of cards, and you're trying to determine who has the best hand, who has the worst, with very limited conversation.
Yeah.
And you're trying to figure that out.
Unless you're Miranda, and then you're trying to do the reverse.
Listen, I thought third meant the worst. It was not the third. It's, look, I had the best.
No, that is...
I chose threes because I had the worst one. But what I did not understand was that 3 was the best hand. Why is 3 the best hand? I don't know. You tell me why 3 is the best hand.
I think you got that backwards. I think it was...
No, I pulled the 3s because I was the worst. And then you were like, oh, we thought you had the best hand because you had 3s. No, nay. I had the opposite of that.
Uh-huh.
And so remember, the more stars, the more valuable your hand is.
Yeah. The other games they had available, they had Nunatak, which is an ice building game, which... that one is the kind of, she compared it to like Ticket to Ride level, but a little like one step above that.
Yeah. We
got to see little bit of a demo, but not much because the next group came along.
Yeah. And it's basically, you've got, you guys are competing to make a temple for the ice gods, and so you have to play, you're trying to place. Anyway, so yeah.
Yeah, and then there was Masters of Crime, which is a one and done type detective style game. There was one called Belrati, which we didn't get to see at all, really. She kind of breezed through saying, oh, yes, it's here, available to demo, but we didn't get a chance to.
Yeah, now the thing about The Gang is this is the first time that people have gotten to see it, too.
Yeah,
so
that's why we signed up for that one.
Because we were one of the first ones that have seen it. Yeah, you really liked poker. So overall, that was a pretty good showing. I will say, we did find a couple of good games, though, to pick up. So I have my couple here. Obviously, the more important thing for me was the stickers. So there were a lot of people that were giving away stickers for games. I made sure I got those because they're awesome. I also they ended up selling Origin tickets, or stickers, so I'm very excited to put those in my bag. I ended up getting more single player adventures. I actually started playing one because I have a bunch that I haven't got into. I finally got into it. It's actually really good. More in depth than I thought it was going to be, which was surprisingly awesome. Now, this game here Why did I pick it up, Randy?
Because you were in a buying frenzy, I'm going to go with?
No.
It was
Fantastical engine building game that takes players to a mythical marketplace. Oh, yeah. Economy and engine building.
Yep.
That's my thing.
Yep.
So
we spent a lot of time at that booth.
I have
Gray
no
Fox.
idea if this is going to be good or not, guys. It just said engine building and marketplace, and that's my thing. I will say this other one. So this is keep the heroes out. Now the base game has been out for a hot minute. This is one of the new expansions, and it's Guildmaster's Revenge. So keep your heroes out are very similar. It's a dungeon. You're trying to keep the heroes out. You're trying to build your dungeon, make it really awesome. It is co-op. Now, normally we wouldn't buy co-op games, which is probably why we haven't had it. Well, you typically don't like co-op.
Yeah.
But this expansion allows it to be 4 versus 1. So you have 4 people playing the dungeon and 1 person playing the heroes. And we know that Randy is going to be the hero because all of us
I'm the most heroic, so.
Well, I mean, the rest of us like to beat up on Randy in the game. So this time it will be on purpose.
Well, plus it's got these cute wooden bits. You know, as far as this upgrade, they added these heroes that they look very much like the Root characters.
Yeah. So I maintain that I did not buy this for me. I bought this for Randy because that way he would feel better about when everyone attacks
so
him.
you feel better about the fact that you got these games that you picked out.
Those were my 2 games that I purchased.
There was more than that. So the only ones to be a purchase. So here's the kicker. Father's Day comes. I get a IOU from my wife that I could pick out a game. Now, just to give you background, at the moment, sadly, I am currently between jobs, so we were planning on being conservative spending, and
try to get Randy at a game convention and be conservative spending.
Yeah, so we went a little bit overboard. But you know, she told me I could pick out a game up to $250, and I chose Anunnaki, which I think we showed on the preview video, but that's one of my games over here. It's because I am a huge Capstone Games fan, and Cranio Games is one of the games companies you like because they make Lorenzo. So this is their kind of experiment in doing a 4X type game. And this, I think, I showed in the little quick blurb we did while we were there. But it's one of the reasons we haven't had as many videos on the channel, just to give you background, because I've been stressing and trying to find a job for the last
I've been working.
months.
I had to go back to work.
And she went back to work, so conveniently, she's now working, and I'm the stay-at-home dad, and it's driving me crazy. So if you guys need a data professional at a director level anywhere that's remote, let me know. So anyway,
you claim that there were some other games that I picked out, which I don't agree with.
I saw the sushi boat, which is you were looking at when we went to the Japanime Games booth.
Well, okay, so I looked at it because I did see the Kickstarter for it, and it looked the pieces looked phenomenal on it. And I thought that Sarah would really enjoy it. I mean, I love sushi. It's yummy. So, and the mechanics were actually pretty cool.
It has a little conveyor belt system.
Yeah, so now I, being the conservative in the family of the financials, I said, I'll just hold off this year. And then Randy's like, I bought you a gift. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. Yep. So, I know I didn't complain when he ended up grabbing Stone Spine Architects. Now, they're the exact same ones that make Cartographers. And when Randy explained this game to me, I don't remember now what that's about, but I thought it was rather good. Can you remind me?
Yes, it's basically a roll and write, but it's a flip and write where you're drawing with different colored pencils and creating the terrain and.
Yeah, that sounds exactly what I would like.
Yeah.
It's very similar
now
to Cartographers.
this game is not like that. This is another dungeon delve.
Oh.
You build a dungeon and you try to keep the heroes out type thing.
Oh, well, so yeah.
So it's another one in the line with those.
Well, to be fair, I thought Andrew would like that too. So that's probably why I did that. The rest of these I cannot claim.
Well, EOS you get half credit for.
I may own EOS.
Yes.
There was another. No, this was the Bizarre.
So anyway, I was saying earlier, I got dibs to buy one large game, which I picked. The next booth, she picks out that Bizarre Zavubar and EOS she's eyeing, and
but I did not say to buy. Well, I know I told you
keep the heroes out, and she's like, I ended up having to buy them for her, so she spent more on her games than my Father's Day present.
Now hold up a second. Randy has all the savings, and I knew he was going to be tapping into it, so I was like, well,
yeah.
Anyway.
So beyond that, I picked up Zensu for Rob and me because we both love abstract games, and this was the last game I bought when we were leaving.
Yeah, I don't know why you found that so interesting. I saw you
play
it.
abstract.
No, listen, it is like chess but stupid, and Randy loved it. And
chess but stupid. Okay, that describes me. I'm like chess but stupid.
No, I wouldn't call you stupid per se.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know why you buy that one. That one's between you and whoever you can get to play for it. It will not be me.
Yeah.
No, it was a little bit different than chess, but they make similar moves. You're trying to get across the board and trying to get one of your pieces across the board. Yep, it's something.
And then this one I had to buy because we played a demo of it and I lost. And it's a luck-based game, pressure luck game, I should say.
Yeah, he still hasn't won against me.
But I did win against Sarah and Alex. So, and we're going to be getting a review of this one up really soon because this is the first game we actually got opened and played. But this one is kind of like Can't Stop. If you're familiar with Can't Stop, you're pressing your luck, but in this case it's kind of two-dimensional because you've got an axis going to the horizontal and vertical, and you're trying to get area control by having the most together on it. So I like the concept. It adds a little bit more meat to it than just Can't Stop.
Yeah, and there's a bit of strategy to it because you get to decide where your dice are going. So there is a little bit of that aspect.
And then, and it was only $15. It was a steal for I mean, as far as pricing goes, that's a really good price for a game. And Aquatica, this is the new expansion for it. So I loved the Aquatica when we played it the first time, except for you can't sleeve the tokens as you push, or the cards as you slide them through because it would stick in the board. And that was one of the complaints we had about it. But you know, we've got the new expansion now to try out. Actually, we haven't even tried the last expansion. So,
I mean, I honestly don't even remember the game. So,
Dabawala. This is a Tetris-y style, polyomino game from Queen's Game. And when you bought it, you got a free game. So we got 2 free games from Queen's. One that was they gave a raffle each day with a coupon, and you go in and you roll a die, and you you got some random game, which I already owned like 60% of them. So I was lucky enough to win the color code, which is one I didn't have, and then Finish Line. These are not rated great, so I don't expect them to be great games, but for free.
Yeah, so we'll take that for what you will. Now there is one that he had to buy. Okay, it's a word game, so.
Well, first of all, there's this Tyrannog, and this was up on the side table when we walked by, and this is Grand Gamers Guild. Grand Gamers Guild, I always keep an eye out because they do have unique games from time to time that I like. This one was a very simple drafting game, but yeah, I liked the concept of it, and it had really pretty pieces, and this was the Kickstarter edition they were selling there. That always is going to lure me in. So I picked up the very last copy they had of it at the show. So stupid me walks by the booth the next day, and they've replaced it with this game, and it's a word game with very beautiful pieces.
So it's very peacock, like it is very absolutely gorgeous, but it's a word game, which I'm not a huge fan.
But I love word games.
But he loves word games, and I tolerate them when he makes me play them, because I love him.
Mm-hmm.
Like I tolerate him. So
mildly tolerate.
So I will say, but it is very, very, very pretty. Yep. So he ended up picking this up, and I'm still confused why you picked it up, but that's fine.
Because I'm going to play it because it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, we did have one more meetup we talk about.
I was wondering when you were going to talk about that.
So we met up with the people that make Dolphin Hat, Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza, and they were kind enough to give us like almost everything they make. I mean,
they were super nice,
super cool.
Nice. They're a family run company. Like it's literally brother, sister, father. Like so, that's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. And this is a huge hit, this Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza. I didn't even know what the game was.
But when we brought it home, Sarah was flipping out. She's like, you finally picked it up. I mean, she loves
she is obsessed with this game. And, you know, she loved, you know, when she saw this and she didn't know about all these other ones, she was like, oh, you got me these games. And it's like, well, we didn't get them for you, but yeah, okay, sure.
Sure,
so
absolutely.
Obviously, we are not the demographic for these games. Sarah is, but she is super stoked. She wants to get these two to the table immediately after, because we played this one already twice now. And this one...
Now, this one, I'm not mad about.
I did like that one a lot.
I'm not mad about this one at all. I thought it was pretty interesting. So basically, you have coconuts and bananas. I don't know if you realize that.
But it's a children's game, so let's not go there.
Okay, it is a children's game, but it's got coconut and bananas. And you're trying to, so depending on the card that gets flipped, you may end up, oh no, it's the spin. So if you spin it, you're trying to either grab a gorilla, a coconut, or a banana. And based on, so if the gorilla is chosen, you have to find either the biggest or smallest gorilla, based on which one it rolled.
Right.
And the thing is,
you're not allowed to grab, the cards are kind of spread all over the table.
And once you touch it, you're done.
And you can't like dig. You have to, whatever you see, you grab, that's yours.
Right. So you're kind of committed that way. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah. And each one has a weight. Everyone's distinct. Even though they look similar, there's a weight associated with each one.
There's literally, I think it's 500 to 600. Like literally
500, 800. 800 is, there's one 800 in the box.
Oh, or maybe it's 6 to 8. I don't remember. But something, no, there was 590 something. So yeah, there's exactly one of each number. And then you also have to grab, there's only 2 bananas. It can be up to 6 players. So you may or may not get a banana and that gives you something. I don't remember what it was. But yeah, so definitely, I actually had a little bit of fun with this. It is sort of like spoons. Be warned.
No, that's one of the bacon one that we didn't.
Oh, that's the bacon one.
I get scarred by spoons.
Yeah, they did have a baking game. They offered it. We chose not to get it because it's very similar to spoons. But yeah, so I'm very excited to play these. Sarah was ecstatic.
Yep. And we went by Hachette, and this was their one of their releases that they had up there. Flashback Lucy. I think it actually came out a little bit before Origins, but these Flashback series have always been popular. This is one that's, I think, designed more to include kids, so we can play this with Sarah. And it is, it's one they were kind enough to let us demo for a review. Then Tangram City. This was actually came out right before Origins, so I picked it up at our friendly local game store. So it technically wasn't an Origins purchase, but it was going to be. So it was. I can get it cheaper through our local store, so I picked it up there. But I don't know much about it, but it's UA Rosenberg. We love our UA, and it's a capstone game, so can't go wrong. You could, I guess, but hopefully you won't. Then I got the new Reiner Nazia games of Cascadero, and this is the roll and write version, Cascadito. And this is kind of the upgrade pieces for it, so I think it's just the dry erase boards. So, that was, I think...
That's our haul.
That's our haul, yeah. I think that covers everything as far as the games we picked up. You picked up a lot of dice.
I picked up okay. So I decided while I was there I was going to play some role-playing because I don't ever get to play role-playing very much because no one's really into it but me. I mean, my brother is, but no one wants to. Me and him are like, you gonna run? No. Are you gonna run? No. And there we are. So I was like, well, people run games. So I'm going to go and join that. So I ended up buying these 2 dice. And I was like, Randy, will you come play with me one game? And he was like, sure, let me go pick up some dice. While he was there was turtle dice. It's like ocean with little turtles in them. So I had to get those 2. So that's my dice haul. Loved the turtle dice. I had fun. I ended up going to one event. It was fun. We had a little blast. We were going through a dead woman's house to clear out the house of any traps. She was a witch, so it was fun. But yeah, that was fun.
And it was one of the official TSR ones too, wasn't it?
Yes.
Not TSR.
Dungeons and Dragons. Those were expensive. I'm not gonna lie. It was $10 for 2 hours, and I was like mathing it. I was like, what? Well, it turns out it's like a league, so you can keep your character if you want. I don't play it enough to keep my character, but I was like, oh, duly noted. I will say I spent a lot of time at the open gaming session. And I literally either found like players wanted, sat down and played. I got to play Unknown, which was great. Planet Unknown, sorry. Planet Unknown, I got to do that. But the rest of the games I ended up hosting, I ended up grabbing one and being like, hey, do people want to play? And I always had people come and stop and play.
What's nice at Origins that's different from Gen Con is they have a library. I think they have a library at Gen Con, but you have to pay to...
Yeah, this one you don't. It is open.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think they included a lot of stuff in the price of the tickets at Origins
Which
now.
I'm fine with.
So, yeah, but you can sit down and you can check out a game. You leave your license, they give you the game, you go sit down, you can take the signs the players wanted. We filled our table every time we played a game.
There was one Books of Time. I played Books of Time and only one person joined me, but I think it was the timing that I did that in, because people were looking for, like, to close up to go eat and then maybe come back later. But yeah, that, I always forget that it's there, and then every time I discover it, I'm like, ooh, I like this. So I need to use it more. It's fantastic over there. Overall...
Well, T-Turtle. Yeah, one thing, if you are a T-Turtle fan, this was the last show that they were featuring the
Disney. Disney's done at the end of June.
And
Harry
Potter's already done too.
Yeah.
Well, Star Wars and Marvel are under Disney.
Yeah.
So.
But interesting enough, I went to the website, couldn't find anything. So I'm wondering if they pulled all of their stock for the show. So I ended up spending money on shirts that I did not originally anticipating spending, because there were some that they had there that I wanted to get, and they had it buy 4 get 1 free or something like that. So I ended up doing that deal. So that kind of ended up working out. So that's kind of sad. I'm a huge T-Turtle fan. Love their shirts. Sad that Disney's going away, but hopefully they'll get some new stuff, and I'm sure it'll be great. So, overall rating, how'd you enjoy your trip?
Apart from the fact that I picked up Alex's sinus crud whenever I got there, and it kind of kicked my butt today, so I didn't get to play the RPG you went to because and
then you missed it. Yeah, you missed Books of Time, and then you complained about the pizza I brought you.
Oh, you also got to play the Hadrian's Wall without me.
Oh yeah, I did too.
That's the one I was bummed about.
I know. I sent him a picture and be like, "See, this is what you missed."
Yeah, but yeah, all in all, I think that
hotel needs to be closer next year.
Yeah, definitely get a closer hotel. I think they handled things better this year as far as Origins. Like last year, it was a complete mess for the VIG. We didn't sign up for VIG this year because of that.
I didn't think they had it.
I don't know if I think they did have it, but they basically reduced it to just an hour early entry and early access to the hotels. They think they got rid of all the other perks, and I don't know if they even changed the price, so it wasn't worth it. But the big thing, and this I really hope they fix, their communication on media was horrible. Yeah,
we got a lot of invites like the last week. So originally we were like, because Randy was like, I don't think we're going to get any invites to do that. And we're all like, well, that's kind of weird. And then right there, the last week
before, I got spammed constantly with people wanting to meet up. And it's like, I've already got my schedule planned by that point. And it's like, why would you wait until the week before to send communication out? But apparently they sent out a list, and I didn't know how they even got us on the list because we didn't send in an application this year. Now, in the past we had. Now, we did sign up with Gamma this year, and Gamma is their sponsor, so they knew we had tickets from Gamma, so I don't know if that's how the communication happened, but we were on the list.
Well, which we're not complaining about.
No, we're glad because we got to meet up with and learn all this details about these different games coming.
Yeah.
But it would have been nice to have some kind of planning around, so I could schedule a week before the convention. Of course, I haven't heard anything from Gen Con at all yet, so probably it's going to be the same way, it looks like.
Yeah, I don't know. That's part of life. We just run with the punches. So overall, I had a really great time. I actually had more fun than I thought I was going to have. Just because of the kind of the stress of the situation and everything, but being able, that open gaming area was really what I needed, just to be able to play some games that I absolutely love, and that's really what this hobby's about, is enjoying the games that we love.
Yeah.
So that actually made it really, really great. I am sad that you were a little sick, but I totally had fun playing games without you. Overall, I had a blast. I do recommend food. Food's always so much better at Origins. Food is always, they've got North Market. Again, more food options actually on site. Like, I feel like Origins or Gen Con is trying to starve you, where Origins is making sure you are well fed.
Well, it's not that trying to starve you. It's just that everything's packed. I mean, there's only so many restaurants you can put around the convention center, and to have them stay busy throughout the year.
Well, I mean, they don't even have food in the vendor hall.
Yeah, that's true.
At
they
Gen
have
Con.
the food trucks, which I don't like food trucks.
Well, but Origins actually has, like, they have they have the food court in the convention center. So even if you don't want to go to the food that is actually in the convention or the vendor hall, they have a restaurant, a coffee shop, a Subway little section, whatever, right outside of the vendor hall. And then if you go on the opposite end of the convention center, they have a food court. And the food is it's not a 10, but it's a good 5 or 6. Like, it's decent food for decent prices. I mean, it's at a convention center, so it is a little more pricier than maybe what you anticipate, but not that much more. And the food quality is actually pretty decent. So I actually like the pizza there. Randy doesn't, but I liked the pizza. I actually thought the deep crust was absolutely delicious. And then I had breakfast. I had an omelet, and it was actually really good. I was like, they did a really good job. I mean, it's an omelet. I don't know how you can mess it up, but they did a great job. And we've eaten there before. So
our hotel didn't really have a restaurant. That was the big thing.
It did, but it sucked. It was more
like
of a Starbucks.
Yeah, it was like it was a sit down, grab something quick restaurant as opposed to a restaurant.
Well, I mean, I got French toast the first day, and it wasn't bad, but then $6 for the apple juice really I just can't justify $6 for apple juice in my head.
North Market is literally 1 block across the street.
I know, and that place is good.
It's great. We went there twice.
And they're building an expansion.
Yep.
It's going to be even bigger. It's going to be fantastic. It may be a couple
they're
years
building a parking lot garage, I think.
No, it's also a space.
Oh, okay.
So it's a combination therein. It's going to be fantastic, so I'm excited to see what that does
he hit a Brazilian steakhouse that was phenomenal while we were there.
It was very different. Their steak was phenomenal. The other stuff, but their steak, they did a great job.
That was our one big meal, and we went there. We decided we're going to splurge on one big meal.
Which I was sad because I was still kind of full from lunch. If I had only known.
But I mean, we have a Brazilian steakhouse locally that we go to from time to time. It had nothing on this place. I mean, it was.
I don't know about that.
They had so many more varieties of meat.
They did, but my bananas weren't there.
Yep.
And
they had
nope, that was plantains. Oh. That was not bananas.
Okay.
So
I don't eat the bananas, so it don't matter to me.
It matters to me, but they did have grilled pineapple where the other place doesn't.
Yeah, that was great.
So I am not opposed.
And they had ham, which they don't have here.
Yeah, they did have ham. Their chicken was not as good as the other place.
Yeah, that's true. Their chicken was very fatty. But the meats, the steaks.
The steaks
were great.
Way better.
Way better.
Steaks were way better. So overall, great time. I had a blast. We'll probably do it again. Yeah. Anyway. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us in our long-winded conversation about Origins. Let us know if you have any questions or if you're thinking about going next year. Maybe we can meet up and play a game together. I'll catch you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.